Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips, and today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about Juneau, Alaska, and the excursions that we've done in the past and what we really enjoyed about them and what we're hoping to do this time. And so before I do that though, I want to talk to you a little bit about the testing requirement that Princess has now to show a negative COVID test as we embark on the cruise ship. So on their website, and as I pointed out yesterday in my video, they mention both 72 hours and 3 days. And so yesterday when I told you that we're planning to get our COVID test on Thursday, I had thought to myself that Thursday to Friday is 24 hours, to Saturday is 48, and then to Sunday would be 72 hours. So it should be okay within the required amount of time. But then if you think of 3 days, I don't know if they would consider Sunday the fourth day. So I called Princess again today, and the rep that I got said that getting the test done on Thursday would be okay. I even asked if Thursday morning would be all right, and she said yes. But you know, I think that just to be on the safe side, I am going to plan to get our testing done on Friday morning. And so that is one thing. Another thing is some of our great subscribers here who have commented said that they are going to get 2 COVID tests so that if the results from one test don't come back, whether they get lost or the lab just never processes the test and gets the results back, they still have another test for a backup. And I think that's an outstanding idea. Thank you very much. I can't remember the name of the person who said that, but thank you for doing that. We are going to follow your lead in that, and we're going to get 2 tests. So I think that we're going to go ahead and go to the lab on Friday morning, and then in our area you can get an antigen test, it looks like, at Walgreens. And so I'm going to try to get that scheduled for Friday also so that we can get that back. And that's the kind that you can get the results in just minutes. And another nice subscriber pointed that out. So thank you. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get both, and then we can show up with the cruise ship with everything that we need for sure. So if any of you think of anything else that we need to take into consideration or do to be well prepared for this, please do leave the comment in the comment section, and I'll do my best to get the information out. And then also I want to thank you all for commenting, because we are building the kind of community that I envisioned when I started this, because I just wanted a place where people could put helpful information and tips, everything that we would need to have a wonderful trip. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So now on to Juneau. So as you come into Juneau, you come through a channel, and that channel has a lot of really good wildlife. So make sure that you're out either on your balcony or up on the deck looking and seeing what you can see. Both times that we have sailed in, we have seen the bald eagles, and one time we saw a bear on the shore. And then we have also, both of our prior trips were in July, and we actually saw salmon flopping in the water there. And so that was really enjoyable. So be sure to be watching for that. And as they pull the ship in, we dock at a place that is really very convenient. There are a lot of shops there. There are eating places. And then right close by, there are also there's a little area where people are selling excursions. And so if you haven't picked and you don't want to pick up an excursion through Princess, they have a lot to offer there. I'm hoping that it's not a lot different due to COVID. I would think that hopefully all the tour directors would be there and want to be able to start their businesses up again. And so keep that in mind. The very first time that we went, we just went over there and bought tickets to go on a shuttle that takes you over to the Mendenhall Glacier and then back to the port area. And that worked really nicely. They drop you off really close. They drop you literally at a trail, and you just walk not a long ways, just a little ways over to where you can see the Mendenhall Glacier. It puts you right on the shore of the little lake there that it is formed as the glacier melts. And then right next to it is where the visitor center is for the national park there, and it is a really good visitor center. It has a $5 admission fee if you want to be able to see their exhibits and listen to their ranger talk, but it is very worthwhile. They have outstanding exhibits about the wildlife, about the glaciers, about the national park there, and so it's very worthwhile. If you've got the time, you should definitely go in there and take a look. And then from there, it's also free that you can walk on the little trail and hike over to Nugget Falls, which is even closer to the Mendenhall Glacier there. And so I wanted to say that we walked partway over, and then I started to get a little bit worried about what time it was, and so we didn't get clear over to the Nugget Falls, but we got a distance, and it's a really good trail. We just had on our regular tennis shoes, and they were just fine. We didn't need hiking boots. So if you've got tennis shoes that you don't mind if they get a little bit of mud on them, if it's rainy, then, or that they get wet, you'll just be fine. You don't need hiking boots to do that. I would say that if you are going to go on an official hike and go much further up, then you would probably want to bring the appropriate footwear for that. So if you have booked an excursion to hike, I would say take a look at what they recommend. And if you booked an excursion that's not with Princess, I would just check with the people who run it and ask what they recommend. So then you'll have everything that you need. So that's, we thoroughly enjoyed that. We got wonderful pictures. You get actually really close to the glacier, as I said, and it's really beautiful. You could see all the blues and all the color of the green foliage with it and everything. It's just breathtaking. That is very much worth going over to see. And so then we just rode the shuttle back, and then we had bought tickets through Princess to go up the Mount Roberts tramway, and so it's very close to the cruise port as well. As you go up, you can see the cruise ship there and everything around, and the views are really, really beautiful. The day that we were there, it was kind of cloudy, and so as we got closer to the top, we actually went into the clouds. And at the top, there is a building there, and it has a gift shop in it, and it has a bar and grill if you're a little hungry. And then when we were there, they had a nice exhibit of different totem poles, and then also some art that had been done by the native people that live in that area. And so it was really nice to go see that. And you can stay up there as long as you want. You just catch the next tram down whenever you're ready to go. And so it's really a nice place to visit. I recommend that because you can see so far with taking the tram clear up. It's a really nice tram, and I felt very safe the whole time. So that was that day, and then we just walked around and did a little bit of shopping for a few souvenirs before we went back to the ship. It was really nice though. And so there's the shops that are right there, right by the port, and some eating places. And then if you walk just a little bit down as you're like facing the port, you walk to your left and go further down. There are more shops and other eating places down the road a bit, but it's handy, definitely within walking distance. And so I highly recommend that. The other, let's see, the next time, oh wait, I wanted to tell you. So Steep Creek is the name of the creek. It runs right there next to the Mendenhall Glacier. And so if you go over there and you're walking on the trail over towards the glacier, you will see, I believe that Steep Creek, if I remember correctly, is on the left. The salmon are supposed to be running. And when we were there in July, we didn't see them because we were a little bit early to see them in the creek. But in August, they say that you can see them. And so make sure that if you go there, you look so that you can see the salmon running, because it's supposed to be an amazing sight. And so I just wanted to give you a heads up about that. Now, the next time that we went to Juneau, which was 3 years later, we went on a wildlife photo safari excursion, and we booked that through Princess as well. And it was one of those that they limit to a really small group. And so there were only like, I think 10 or 12 people at the most in our group. And so they took us in one of those little van shuttle type things and drove us over to Auk Bay, A-U-K-E. And that's about, I would say maybe a 15 to 20-minute drive at the most. And so we had a really good tour guide, and so he talked to us about everything on the way over. And then we got on this expedition vessel that was small enough to zip around in the water, and it had huge windows on the sides, and they opened up, and so you could take pictures out the open windows. And the captain had sonar on the boat, and so he could kind of tell in the water where some of the whales were. And then we were also all looking for any spouts or any whales coming up so that we could go, and when we would see something or he would find something on his little equipment, then we would zip over to it, and we got some really, really amazing photos, and we had such a fun time. There were lots of seals that we got to see there. We got to see some eagles. It was just, and lots of whales. It was really wonderful. It was very worthwhile. And so we learned about a website, and it's called Juneau Flukes, like Flukes, like the tail of a whale, and .org. And so on the back of the whales, the little pattern that you see with the white and the black is what they call like a thumbprint. It's different for every whale. And so if you get any photos of the fluke of a whale, you can go onto this website and kind of match, look at all the pictures that they have and try to match yours to it, and then you can put in that you sighted it on this day in this place, and then you can kind of see the last time someone entered about that whale. It's really interesting, and we really enjoyed doing that when we got home. So that's just something to keep in mind, even if nobody tells you that. If you get the picture of a fluke of a whale while you're on this trip, you can go to that website and see if you can find it. There's some other whale tail websites like that I noticed on the internet that you can look up, but this one is just for that region, and so you have a really good chance of finding one that has been sighted before. And so I wanted to tell you that. So then after we got done, we did that for a couple of hours, then they put us back on the shuttle and we headed over towards the Mendenhall Glacier because a nature hike was included as part of the photo safari. And so he was such a good tour guide. He just had the driver of the van thing pull over at a certain point in the road, and we got out, and he knew right where the trail went into the brush, and we got to see, it was just like stepping into another world. We saw all this flora and fauna that I have never seen in my life, because the rainforest there is like the most temperate, largest rainforest in the whole world, and it is extraordinary. And so we got to see, like I said, all of these different plants and different kinds of mushrooms. We got to see these enormous granite boulders that had come down with the glaciers, and just all of this. We saw all these creeks and waterfalls, and just, you wouldn't believe, everything had green growing on it, just as you would expect in a rainforest. It was so beautiful, and he did a really good job about talking to us about how to get different shots with the water doing all these different things and just everything. It was really, really educational as well as a lovely experience. And then we ended up over at an overlook by the Mendenhall Glacier, so we got nice pictures there and just had a lovely day. And then they drove us back, and so then after that we just walked around. That took a lot of the time that we had in port that day, so we just walked around for a while until it was time to head back to the ship. And so that's what we did. And so this next time that we get to go, we on this trip, we are planning to do the Tracy Arm Fjord and Glacier Explorer excursion, because we have never been up the Tracy Arm Fjord yet. And they say that the Tracy Arm Fjord is the most breathtakingly beautiful fjord in all of Southeast Alaska. And so I think it's going to be an extraordinary experience. And being there on a smaller expedition vessel instead of on a cruise ship, we're going to be able to get so much closer into the fjord and closer to the glaciers, and just, it should be just a wonderful, wonderful day. And so it leaves at 12:30 in the morning, and it gets back at 8 o'clock not 12:30 in the morning, 12:30 in the afternoon. We get into port at noon, and then it leaves at 12:30, and then we get back to town at 8 p.m. And then the ship is supposed to leave at 10, so all aboard will probably be at 9:30. And so that still gives us good time to walk around and see things and get anything that we want to get and just have a nice time. And so I can't recommend this excursion because I haven't been on it yet. But if you haven't booked anything, I'm thinking this is going to be wonderful. So if you want to, you can come along. But we're just going to plan to be out just enjoying the whole day and taking pictures and just drinking and all the scenery. And I also wanted to point out that I don't know if you had a chance to watch the video that I did earlier this week about the Alaska Cruise Companion book and other books that I recommend for Alaska. But in the one that is about the ice that started a fire, that one that talks about John Muir, it talks about him visiting Sawyer Glacier that we'll be seeing on that excursion. And then in the one about travels in Alaska, it has some of the journal entries that John Muir wrote when he was in that region and going to the glacier, the Sawyer Glacier and South Sawyer Glacier and that whole area there. And so I think it's just going to be so thrilling to finally see in person the things that I've been reading about. And so if you enjoy that kind of thing as well, I think this is a lovely opportunity. So if you have any questions about anything in Juneau that maybe we can answer, will you please just leave the question in the comments below, and I'm happy to answer it and do my best to find out if I don't know the answer. If any of you have any questions about anything else or anything else you think that I should cover that would be useful, just let me know and I'm really happy to do it. I am so excited for our cruise, and I just wanted to tell you what to look forward to. Until I talk to you again, you all take really good care. God bless you, and I love you. Bye-bye.